love the idea of what Destiny 2 might have become, but maybe not so happy with how it actually turned out? Many would argue that Destiny is one of the most disappointing franchises that has ever been created, one that could have been a masterpiece. Not surprisingly, Destiny is at the helm of so much controversy and bad business today. On one hand, we have a premium-feeling AAA game developed by the makers of Microsoft's most iconic first-person shooting brand, and on the other, we have a game that has gone down the dark rabbit hole of unethical DLC distribution, false promises, and an overall lack of communication and execution. Somewhere out there, there's a large and loving player base enjoying Destiny 2, and that is fantastic. But outside of that realm, there is a larger group of gamers crying out for Bungie to get back to their former glory, fix the game, and stop the lies, the deceit, the flagrant misuse of recycled content, and the sensation that loyal Bungie fans simply don't matter to them anymore. It's a curious case for a video game that should have been crushing the competition and standing atop the mountain of this industry's greatest shooting games. So today, we're going to dive into the deep end of the Destiny 2 pool, confront the current state of the game, and talk about why Destiny 2 is in such a huge pickle. All to answer the hard question, did it fail? Destiny was a dream concept envisioned by what many consider to be one of the most talented first-person shooting developers out there, Bungie. During the years leading up to the original Destiny in 2014, the shooting game market was perfecting many gaming templates that we had all grown very accustomed to.
What was he doing? Damn it, Wrecker. I almost shot you in the face.
Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty iterating on a dozen-year-old ride with their modern shooting games. Games like BioShock Infinite, Crysis 3, and Metro Last Light were perfecting the first-person shooting story game, a classic design dating all the way back to Half-Life in 1998. Since their success with Halo, Bungie decided that it was time that the industry said goodbye to the modern military shooter, the plain Jane story shooter, and everything that had been tried in the past. Destiny was going to be something different. Destiny was created to bring about change in the market and combine two things that had been rarely mixed in the shooting game market before: a persistent, shared world and an MMO-style quest structure.
The Hive haven't been on Earth in centuries.
Was Destiny a story-based game, a run-and-gun shooter, a looter shooter, or maybe an MMO? Was there more shooting than dialogue? Was it going to be completely open-ended, free-roaming, or maybe structured akin to a role-playing game? Could you make your own character and define your legacy as a guardian? Nobody really knew, but mouths were wide open at the reveal of the concept, drool aplenty dripping down our chins. And with Bungie spearheading the expedition, Destiny had the potential to be the most amazing video game concept ever realized. If done right, Destiny would show us a new side to the traditional shooting game and pry us away from what we thought the genre had become. Destiny was released to crowds of excited gamers in fall of 2014. The game was praised for its incredibly slick combat that maintained the lineage of Bungie's last game, Halo, as well as the visualization of an interesting science fiction themed world.
Here, I found a rifle. Grab it!
For the most part, Destiny had solid PvP experiences with an epic soundtrack to boot, with a fantastic amount of interesting lore and backstory. But that's where it kind of ended for Destiny. Much of the rest of the experience turned out to be a colossal disappointment though for many gamers. A confusing story that begs to be explained, but never is. Easily manipulative AI that provided really no challenge. Missions that involved little to no skill, planning, or thinking. Open a door, fight a wave of enemies, and rinse and repeat. Bullet sponge enemies used to inflate game length. Grindy progression for the sake of being grindy, and cooperative play wherein you would travel to every area you had already been through, fighting the same enemies just with a bigger health pool. So if you like spending 30 minutes killing one enemy, Destiny was the game for you. In the end, Destiny turned out to be a shadow of its vision, and would cement a legacy of one of the biggest missed opportunities in modern day gaming.
Okay, we've got to head for a place called the Endless Steppes.
And it would also be the poster child for bad business, as the game would come under fire for exploitative DLC design, lying about microtransactions, putting paid content on the day one disc, and cutting content from the base game over and over and over. So it would be its sequel, Destiny 2, that would need to correct the wrongdoings of the original game and make good on the promise of the original vision. So the question is, did Destiny 2 actually do this? Destiny 2 was released in September of 2017 to a mob of gamers unsure of what to expect from Bungie's new game. Many of them were hostile, others hesitant, with a bad taste of Destiny still fresh in the back of their mouth. Long story short, Destiny 2 was once again another mixed bag and another shock to the industry expecting a blockbuster hit from Bungie. Just about everything in this game was universally argued for or against. The combat was mechanically great, but many felt the new class system took a step backwards in time. The story was legitimately better and more fleshed out, yet calling it phenomenal or industry-leading would definitely be a stretch. And the lore was again very interesting, yet made non-canon by way of constant contradiction by Bungie.
Hey, you two, give me a sec.
New modes like adventures or lost sectors were a good idea also in theory, but weren't fleshed out enough or different enough from what players had already experienced in the main campaign, and changes to PvP were also heavily debated. But you can wipe all of that to the side, because any praise that the game initially garnered went unnoticed when the very first DLC came out and players discovered that vanilla content was included. Cut content was here again, including multiple features and game modes such as raids and trials. Base content developed long in the past was locked behind DLC, and assets were reused and repeated to be resold later on. And don't you forget about gameplay affecting microtransactions and loot boxes, they were there too. It was Destiny 1 all over again, yet taken to a whole new level. Amidst heavy backlash by the community, Bungie did backpedal on most of this crooked behavior later on, but the damage had already been done. In the end, Destiny 2 was absolutely smashed by users, generating a 4.2 average score from around 3,300 users on Metacritic, a stark contrast to the average of 85 lauded by the critics of this industry. Despite the horrid reception though, Destiny 2 would end up being one of the highest selling games of 2017. And given the fact that it only had a few months to get on that list, and that is absolutely astounding. It raked in over $500 million on its very first day selling, and would go on to become the second fastest selling game of 2017, under of course Call of Duty World War II. How could this possibly happen? The only explanation is that people just ran out and bought the game without thinking about it, propelled by the shiny and plastic pre-order bonus. Destiny 2 is one hell of a case study, one of the most successful games of all time, yet one of the most debated against. Our industry lives and dies on the pre-order bonus, and that is the reality of today. The weapon skin or the extra mission you can get for quote-unquote free, the emote that no one really cares about, a figurine, or a page of stickers. Joe Gamer cannot resist these plastic temptations. Did the world not do their research before they went out and bought Destiny 2? 6 months later, after the excitement has worn off, Destiny 2 isn't actually doing so hot anymore. Physical sales are down more than they should be, and you can find a copy on sale for as little as $10. Whether this hints at a dwindling player base will forever be a mystery, as the last known player count that was published did not look so good. Will Destiny ever be saved, or will it always be a franchise that will never get the love it so desperately needed? Let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs it up, and if you did not, I hope you can maybe catch something else you like on my channel. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys on the other side.